Through the ancient writings of the prophet Obadiah, John McTernan states that an earth-shaking war is about to erupt, resulting in the destruction of specific countries. Find out on It's Supernatural.
Can ancient secrets of the supernatural be rediscovered? Do angels exist? Is there life after death? Are healing miracles real? Can you get supernatural help from another dimension? Has the future been written in advance? Sid Roth has spent 30 years researching the strange world of the supernatural. Join Sid on this edition of It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here. Welcome to my world where it's naturally supernatural. I wouldn't want it any other way. Do you know, if you go to your computer and look at the FEMA webpage, you'll find out that the 10 worst economic disasters since they've been keeping their records of FEMA, 9 of the 10 occurred when the United States went against Israel. Is there a correlation? Obviously there is. My guest, John McTernan, has been studying the book of Obadiah, the shortest book in the Old Testament, and he says the key to end-time events is found in the book of Obadiah. John, there was a certain day, a number of years ago, you were watching TV, minding your own business, and you saw something. Tell me about it. Actually, it changed your whole destiny, your whole life.
It did, Sid. It did. It was October of 1987, and it had to do about there was a homosexual rally in Washington. At that time, it was the largest homosexual gathering, maybe in world history. And immediately after that, Sid, the week immediately following, the stock market went into convulsions. Then the following Monday was the big crash. Do you remember the crash in 1987?
Right. At that time, it was one of the biggest.
Yes, and it was 6 business days after that rally. And while I was watching the TV, the announcer's lip was actually quivering in fear that this would be the start of another Great Depression. The Lord took me back the week before to that rally and put what was happening in front of the TV and the rally together in my mind, and I heard his voice saying that I do not fear him, and that if I feared him, I would have humbled myself when I saw this rally and cried out to him for mercy. And he said that the church does not fear him in America, and the country was naked and open before him in judgment. Heard it vividly, Sid. And I fell down on the floor right in front of the TV, and I repented to the Lord that I did not fear him, I did not walk in the fear of him. And from that day to this, I've been in this ministry, Sid, of showing these correlations where God is trying to warn America we're on a collision course with him.
And you have found there are 3 areas when these occur, there are judgments that occur, such as hurricanes, such as stock market crash, things of that nature. And the 3 things are abortion, homosexuality, and coming against Israel. But why is it that coming against Israel, 9 of 10 on FEMA, of the worst things to ever happen to us, connected with the worst economic things?
Well, Sid, in God's Word, God specifically talks about, through the prophets, about bringing the Jewish people back into the land because of that covenant, Sid, that God made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's a living, real covenant that's still in effect today. And that God warns in his word, he warns the nations not to interfere with that covenant, Sid. And the United States, maybe with good intentions, because it started with President Bush Sr., they continued with President Clinton, President Bush Jr., now with President Obama. We are directly interfering with the covenant and God's prophetic plan, and their warnings in the scriptures are coming upon America now, okay, exactly according to God's word.
Let's give an example. There was what was called the Madrid Peace Conference in Madrid, Spain, and when that meeting convened, and that was a meeting to divide the land of Israel.
Yes.
When that meeting convened, what happened?
Well, Sid, I guess I'm gonna show you right here. Here's proof from the New York Times. While President Bush, I'll say President Bush Sr., not to confuse your listeners here, viewers, while he was standing up, initiating the Madrid peace process, while he was speaking, what's called the perfect storm, and you may remember the perfect storm, Sid. There was a movie made about it. There was a best-selling book.
Yes, of course.
And it was bizarre weather patterns that only occur once every couple hundred years came together in the North Atlantic and sent a hurricane the wrong way. And the hurricane, whoever hears of a hurricane in the North Atlantic in late October forming, instead of coming from the southwest to the northeast, this came from the northeast to the southwest and came all the ways down the coast of the United States. But while the president was speaking, this storm sent 30-foot waves against his home in Kennebunkport, Maine. And what I just gave you is the New York Times article showing his home was destroyed. Now, what it doesn't say is it was destroyed while he was in Madrid speaking, but the date is the same date. And you can see it.
How many of these events have you found where the United States goes against Israel and then there's a horrible economic catastrophe?
Sid, rough number, 50 to 60 now, but they're the major.
I mean, within
ones.
24 hours, this judgment occurs. Okay, there was a second Madrid peace conference that was in the United States. What happened?
Well, what happened, Sid, was a year later, the Madrid peace process was transferred from Madrid, Spain, to the United States to meet on American soil. And what I have here, Sid, is a picture of this is not a picture, Sid. This is the actual newspaper article where I was sort of alerted that America was under judgment. Now, Sid, this is the USA Today. Notice the headlines.
1 million flee Andrew. I mean, that was some hurricane.
Right. Up to, that was a Category 5. There's only been 3 Category 5s to hit the United States. This was a Category 5. And notice that the whole page is full about the disaster of Hurricane Andrew.
Right.
But now look over here, Sid.
Mideast peace talks to resume on positive notes.
Yeah.
And again, these were talks to divide the land of Israel.
Sid.
And in Joel chapter 3, it says, in the last days, the nations will be judged for one sin. You know what that one sin is? I quote, dividing the land of Israel. Be right back after this word.
We'll be right back to It's Supernatural.
For he himself is our peace,
who has made both Jew
and Gentile into one,
and broke down the barrier of the dividing wall.
His purpose was to create in himself.
His purpose was to create one new man.
one new man.
Один новый человек.
L'Adam Hadash Echad.
One new man.
Sid Roth has found the key to worldwide revival. This is God's time to reach the Jewish people with his love. Messiah Jesus has torn down the wall dividing Jew and Gentile. The two together form one new man to reach the world. God's method to reach the Jewish people is through signs and wonders. This is why our website, sidroth.org, is jam-packed with tools to equip you to move in signs and wonders, understand Israel and the Jewish roots of the church. Log on to sidroth.org today.
We now return to It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here with John McTernan, and John has been entrusted with a key to the end times. He has found revelations like I have never heard before in the book of Obadiah. But there is one verse in Obadiah, John, that is key to end times. Obadiah 1:15.
Yeah, and Obadiah 1:15, Sid, is very important. It says, "For the day of the Lord has come upon all the heathen, and as thou hast done to Israel," and I'm adding Israel, but it says, "as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall be upon thine own head." So it makes it crystal clear, Sid, as God's prophetic plan is unfolding, Israel is the key. And if you bless Israel, now this is individuals and nations, if you bless Israel and the Jewish people, and line up with God's prophetic plan, God will bless you. If you don't, Sid, there is a severe curse coming.
And I find it so amazing, the number